Ayo, little man, what's going on, everyone? Nick here from Little Man YGO, back at again with another video, and this time we have a side deck tutorial. Yes, this has been a highly requested video of mine. People are like, "What do I even do with this side deck?" And I've definitely seen some certain people play this deck and side deck so incorrectly and they lose the game, which is, whatever, Yu-Gi-Oh. But before I jump into any of this, please like, comment, and subscribe for more Amaryllis, Yu-Gi-Oh, Edison format, Go format. We're playing every form of Yu-Gi-Oh. I want to explore different formats. That's what I want to do. So if you like those things, subscribe. If you don't like those things, subscribe anyway. I will wait. Also, we have a Discord. So Discord link in the description below. Just go to the welcome tab, add your role, and come hang out with us. So what I have right in front of you is the deck list that Adam and I have piloted to a top. Well, he got second, and then I myself got ninth place at the Raleigh Ultimate Time Wizard for the YCS. Honestly, the one thing just noticed right now, and I'm not going to go back and change it, is that bottomless in here should be instead of my body as a shield because we were testing that card for a little bit, and then he was also playing two cyber dragons instead of one, so that was the only difference between our lists. And on top of that, he also got first place slash second place at the Gamer Choice Book of Moon tournament. So I mean, I will say that this is probably one of the best built versions of Amaryllis that we've developed so far. It has a lot of consistent wins with it, and it's just overall crazy. But you got to understand how the side deck is overall prepared. So prepared a couple of matchups of what the side deck will look like. Starting off with the Blackwing plan. The Blackwings. We don't fucking like Blackwings, and who does? It's a big doofy deck that just summons the big dudes and then attacks, and they activate double black whirlwind, and you fucking lose the game anyway. So as you see here, the way I'm deciding to do this is take all the cards that are going to be sided out and put it into this little slot right over here. And then all the cards that'll be sided in are right over here. So as you see here, we have, Double Dust Tornado, Starlight Road, Karma Cut, Blackwing Gale, the Whirlwind, and then Brain Control. And we're taking out Jar, Debris Dragon, three Wing Boss, and then Dust Shoot. Depending if you're going second or going first or going second. That is also in tangent with what the bottomless trap hole is, whether you're going first and going second. So the reason why we decided to go with this area is for a couple of reasons. One, with the Karma Cut, the good thing with it is that it is a discard outlet, and that's very important with a deck like this. Is that like you need to maintain some level of consistency with your discard outlets because you are going to draw your high level monsters, and you want to get them in the graveyard. Karma Cut is a very good option against Blackwings because one, it does force out and destroy remove the monster so that they're not able to follow up with a blizzard, but also too like just wing blast in general is just really bad against the matchup. I mean, there's sometimes when you are ahead and you're just like spinning back rows and doing the wing blast shenanigans, or sometimes you on one of their normal summons they activate wing blast. They activate Black Whirlwind, you chain wing blast, stacking a card to the top of their deck, which would be the Whirlwind, and they are forced to redraw the Whirlwind, and it has no value unless they have another giant, big normal summon monster in their hand, which sometimes they don't. So there's some value within that, but we ultimately take those out of the deck. Usually the back row is one of the ways to beat the deck, and you got to beat Black Whirlwind, so that's where Dust Tornadoes come in. The Starlight Road is really good against playing its Icarus attack overall, as well as some of the Mass Destruction that usually could come in post board. So it's very helpful to see. And then we have the Gale and Brain Control right here, which is, I think one of the coolest features about this deck is that we go up to four brain control cards. And the reason why that's important is because when we're playing against cards like Shura the Blue Flame, sometimes they don't even like synchro after it. And you just steal their Shura, run over a monster, and then just pull Gale right out of the deck. From there, you're able to make a Black Rose Dragon or a Armor Master, which another thing noted within this deck list, the Doomkaiser Dragon that's in there should be an Armor Master. So just keep that in mind as you are, trying to copy over deck lists here and there. But the appropriate deck list will be in the description below, so you'll be able to see that and copy it and net deck and do all that fun shit with it. The other thing on top is that when Gale comes in, he also serves as like a free summon. So when you do have hidden armories that you just have to fire, because sometimes you have to, you got to like beat this deck pretty fast, that you're able to take their monster, special summon Gale from the hand, and it kind of avoids that normal summon restriction that comes with hidden armory and Miracle Fertilizer. With this side deck plan, I know that Adam has like not dropped a game against Blackwings with this deck, or at least this version. So there's definitely the strength of this side deck plan right here. Next is the value plan. So the value plan is a little bit different. Instead of siding into Dust Tornadoes, we bring in the Decrees. What we find a lot of value decks are siding three Dust Tornadoes. Eric Shen, the great and powerful duelist who did win the Ultimate Time Wizard in Raleigh, he sided three Dust Tornadoes. And the Dust Tornadoes can be problematic because they're able to beat your equip spells slash miracle fertilizers. So obviously the Decree, and especially with Titanial, is a very, very good setup that you could have that just like FDKs a lot of boards as they are. But the other thing worth noting too is that Black Value Turbo could only beat you with their back row. The only reason why they win or they have a high chance of winning is that their back row is beating you. You're not able to push through their back row. They cannot really beat you any other way unless they have like Dark Arm Burial, like some combination of those cards, and they're able to just throw out a board of monsters and just start crashing in Titanos. It's really rare that their monsters are able to beat you. So that's why there's a bigger focus on that. Lightning Vortex does come in. You're going to notice that Lightning Vortex comes in a lot, especially post board, because of the Fossil Dinas that do come into the deck. And as you see down here, Debris Dragon and Morphing Jar does get sided out again. You're going to notice that the Debris Dragon does get sided out a lot, especially because like the reality of it is that like Royal Oppression is get siding it start does get sided in post board for a lot of these decks. So like you want one less card to lose to Oppression, even though that like the Breed Dragon is a pretty strong card. Trap Dust Shoot differs whether you go first or second, and then obviously Scrap Iron, not so great in this matchup because Raikou could pop it, and then the one wing boss got to cut down for those decrees. Dust Tornado also in the side deck there. Again, we're trying to beat the back rows there, and then DD Crow. There's a lot of like matchups you do want to side one DD Crow in against because you're able to stop like their Plague Spreader play, or there's a lot of these lists are now cutting down to two Sirocco's. I think the gentleman Steve V, who runs versus games down in Florida, who also got top eight. He plays three Sirocco's. Sizzle also plays three Sirocco's as well. But there are people who are on the James Hark list and playing two Sirocco's, where you could capitalize it a lot easier on a DD Crow. Whereas, I mean, some of the biggest ways of being able to beat you is making the bigger synchro monsters. So if you're able to stop the Plague Spreader in the graveyard, that's obviously most ideal. Diva Hero Plan. So this is an interesting one because there are a couple of factors that are worth considering when playing against Diva Hero. Like they do brick you up a lot. They do brick up a lot, which you could utilize to your favor. But also there's a couple of reasons why we do kind of play some of the cards that we play. Bot Lion does come out for this one because like you can't really because you're siding in Cyber Dragon, and Cyber Dragon's a better fit against Diva Hero in general because one of the ways they're able to beat your board is through summoning Diva, getting out Gilman, and then making Catastor, and then Cyber Dragon does beat the Catastor. So that's one reason being there. Gale also does come in because those 2,500 attack zeros, I mean, they're very rare that those are even bigger. It does trade really favorably with zero. And because we are bringing in another tuner, brain control is a little bit more sufficient. I mean, there's some games that like you have to win by taking their zero because there's no other way of pushing through. So like you got to steal their zero, put up your big board and attack for game. And that does come up a lot. And then Dust Tornado does come in, depending whether we're going first or second, it's able to snipe the Future Fusion and maybe some other additional floodgates that the guard that could be boarding in. Overall, this is not like a really hard matchup to begin with, but you got to side a little bit differently versus than the Devo Hero B plan. Whereas for Adam's case, you do want to side in double Cyber Dragons, and then you do want to have cards like Gale also because like they're able to beat some of the normal summons within that deck. And then maybe like a Decree Hero there for that deck, depending whether you're going first or second, is usually sufficient. Also, like Scrap Iron Scarecrow against Diva Hero Beat is a very, very strong option simply because like they have to expend their back row destruction on it, and you want their back row destruction going to be expended on that, opposed to the excuse me right here, opposed to the like the miracle fertilizers or the equip spells that are ultimately going to be the game pieces that you need to ultimately win the game. Also, like Karma Cut come in against Stevie Hero because when you Karma Cut an alias and they don't have Gem Spark and they have a whole bunch of Neos aliases in the graveyard, then that's fucking awesome. The Frog Plan. So this is like one of the deck's best matchups just in general. You could kind of play side a little bit softly on it. Obviously, Dusty gets stuck in whether it's going first or going second because they're always having multiple cards in their head. Excuse me. But Heavy Storm does come out. Scrap Iron comes out. The Morphing Jar does come out as well. You have two DD Crows and then the Soul Release coming in for this matchup because I mean, I think banishing the plants as well as like if you're playing the Hero Frog variant, they're not going to have heroes in the graveyard as frequently sometimes. So like if you could fizzle a miracle with that. Very strong overall. Erwin does come in post board where Erwin is not the best per se, but it's better than Morphing Jar. And sometimes when you're going second and they are for example, just like setting a card because like that's either like a Treeborn Frog or Dupe Frog, which happens a lot. Like they do see those cards like starting off with. You're able to throw the Aaron out there, whack in, and then you have a mill three. So it goes to it's like an engine piece for you that also is utility that you can search off charge. So that's why that card I think is so important to play in this deck, especially in the sideboard. And then Karma Cut, I mean, like I don't need to go over why Karma Cut is so fucking broken in this variant. It's just that like you could hit like the Treeborn Frogs out of the graveyard and get rid of all of them completely. I've did that in my one of my matches in Gamer's Choice where I was playing as Hero Frog, and I mean it was a soft FTK just from that point going forward. It keeps the Discord trap ratio the same. Lightning Vortex does come in and out depending on whether you're going first versus going second. I prefer to keep MST into the main deck because like I believe that's when they bring in real back row. And you want to utilize like cards like that to out that back row because especially against the better frog players for sure. And lastly, we have zombies. So zombies obviously not the most popular deck in the room. We don't cover every single matchup here because like there are a lot of decks in Edison format, but we wanted to go over what the clear ones are for this one. This is where you do bring in this is one of the few matches we do keep the triple wing busts and that's a slower deck. So if you're playing against a slower deck, the wing busts are going to be more severe. They're going to be more impactful than anything else. Also, Scrap Iron is not so favorable in this matchup, whereas Dust Tornado can be, especially if they are playing the Ultimate Offerings and where you see Ultimate Offering. You could side into the Royal Decrees for that point, just to make sure that they're not able to advance their game state per se. Aaron is a house of a card. I say house of a card in this matchup. They have to like have a monster bigger than 1600 to get rid of it. So unless they have Pyramid Turtle and the Zombie Master or Cyber Master or Zombie Master entirely, she stays. Also, when you have her and then Wing Blast to back it up, like you're advancing your game save so much and they just can't even deal with it. And also the DD Crow, we don't like soul release against this deck just because like you know you don't want to feel return per se. But you know the DD Crows like are very big on hitting some of the key plays that the deck could have when they're going for their key combo. It's always involving either Book of Life or Mizuki or Book of Life, Mizuki, or even Plague Spreader. And when they're topping for Plague and you hit them with Crow, it just feels so good. But hopefully this helps bring some insight as to like what our sideboard plan is. And it was a very successful sideboard plan, I will say. I mean, like again, Adam did get second and I did get ninth, and Adam got first/second at the Gamer's Choice with this exact same main deck. The side deck was a little changed. So um again, like this is how you board with this deck, at least within the most popular matchups within the format. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys see fit. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more Amaryllis Yu-Gi-Oh! Related content, and we'll see your beautiful faces sometime later on. Peace. Have a great day. Stay safe, y'all.